Think Venezuela is only known for political chaos and economic collapse? Wait until you find out this country has the world's highest waterfall that was considered cursed by its own indigenous people. You won't believe they have a city where gasoline costs less than water, and here's the scary part. There's a place where speaking English can literally get you arrested. Number 15. Venezuela has a waterfall so tall that indigenous tribes believed it was haunted by evil spirits. Even the indigenous Camaracotos Pomon tribe who occupied the valley beside Ollantaytambo stayed away, believing that Angel Falls' remote location harbored malign spirits. Picture this. Angel Falls drops 979 meters. That's like stacking 3 Empire State Buildings on top of each other. For centuries, the local Pemon people called it Karapakupai Meru, meaning waterfall of the deepest place, but they wouldn't go near it. The roar of water crashing down from nearly a kilometer high created such an otherworldly sound that they thought demons lived there. You heard right. The world's tallest uninterrupted waterfall was essentially a no-go zone because it was too terrifying. It wasn't until 1933 that American pilot Jimmy Angel spotted it from his plane, giving it the name we know today. Think about it, a natural wonder so magnificent that even the people who lived next to it for generations were afraid to approach it. Number 14. In some Venezuelan cities, a bottle of water costs more than a full tank of gasoline. The government subsidizes fuel so heavily that gasoline literally costs less than bottled water in many areas. We're talking about filling up a 50-liter tank for the equivalent of maybe 10 cents, while a single bottle of water can cost you several dollars on the black market. Picture pulling up to a gas station where the attendant charges you more for the bottle of Coke you buy inside than for the 20 gallons of premium fuel you just pumped. This bizarre economic reality means taxi drivers sometimes make more money selling gasoline on the black market than actually driving passengers. Here's the funny part. Some Venezuelans near the Colombian border have turned into fuel smugglers, driving back and forth across the border with tanks full of practically free Venezuelan gas to sell at massive profits. It's like living in an upside-down economy where the most valuable liquid commodity is treated as if it's worthless, while basic necessities cost a fortune. Number 13. Venezuela is home to the Yanomami tribe, where men prove their masculinity by taking hallucinogenic drugs and engaging in ritualistic chest-pounding duels. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, the Yanomami people practice one of the world's most intense coming-of-age rituals. Young men inhale a powerful hallucinogenic powder called nyaquana through long wooden tubes, then engage in brutal chest-pounding contests, where opponents take turns striking each other's chest with closed fists until one gives up or collapses. The goal isn't just to show physical strength, it's to demonstrate spiritual fortitude while under the influence of mind-altering substances. These sessions can last for hours, with participants entering trance-like states where they believe they're communicating with forest spirits. Women aren't allowed to witness these ceremonies, and breaking this taboo can result in serious community punishment. What makes this even more intense is that the nyaquana drug is made from the ground bark of the virola tree, which contains DMT, the same compound found in ayahuasca. So imagine teenage boys high out of their minds beating the living daylights out of each other as a rite of passage into manhood. There's a Venezuelan law that makes it illegal to take photos of government buildings, and violators can face up to 8 years in prison. You heard right. That innocent tourist selfie in front of a government office could land you in a Venezuelan prison for nearly a decade. The law is so strict that even accidentally capturing a government building in the background of your vacation photo can be considered espionage. Security forces regularly patrol popular tourist areas with this exact purpose, scanning for anyone pointing cameras toward official structures. Here's the scary part. The definition of government building is deliberately vague and can include everything from post offices to public schools to state-owned businesses. Many tourists have been detained for hours just for having photos on their phones that authorities deemed suspicious. The paranoia runs so deep that some areas have signs in multiple languages warning visitors about photography restrictions, but these signs are often placed where you've already accidentally broken the law. Think you're safe with just smartphone photos? Think again. They specifically target phone cameras too, and claiming ignorance as a foreign tourist won't necessarily save you from prosecution. Venezuelan women have won more Miss Universe titles per capita than any other country in the world. This isn't just a coincidence, it's the result of a multi-billion-dollar beauty industry that operates like a military training program. Venezuela has produced 7 Miss Universe winners, despite having only 0.4% of the world's population, giving them a success rate that's 17 times higher than the global average. The country has specialized beauty academies where girls as young as 4 years old begin training in walking, posture, and interview techniques. These institutions spend an average of $50,000 per contestant on preparation, including plastic surgery, dental work, and professional coaching. Here's where it gets intense. The competition is so fierce that many families go into debt financing their daughters' beauty pageant careers, seeing it as their ticket out of poverty. The most successful academy, run by Osmel Sousa, has been nicknamed the Beauty Czar and operates with the precision of a sports training facility. Students follow strict diets, undergo psychological conditioning, and practice answering questions about world politics for hours daily. It's like a beauty boot camp where the ultimate prize is international fame and financial security. Venezuela has a city where speaking English in public can get you arrested for suspected espionage activities. In certain areas near sensitive military installations, particularly around Ciudad Bolívar, authorities have detained foreigners simply for conversing in English, suspecting them of gathering intelligence. The paranoia stems from decades of political tension with the United States, creating an environment where any foreign language conversation can be interpreted as suspicious activity. Security forces have been trained to report unusual linguistic behavior, and English speakers are automatically flagged as potential threats to national security. Here's the terrifying part. There's no official law against speaking English, but local military commanders have broad discretion to detain anyone they consider suspicious for up to 48 hours without charges. This has created a chilling effect where even Venezuelan citizens who speak English fluently avoid using it in public to prevent harassment. The situation is so severe that international businesses operating in these areas specifically train their employees to communicate only in Spanish during work hours, even in private conversations. Tourist guides now routinely warn English-speaking visitors to remain silent in certain neighborhoods and pretend they don't understand the language if approached by authorities. Imagine having to hide your native language like it's a criminal activity just to avoid being thrown in jail on espionage charges. The country has a television channel that only broadcasts government propaganda for 18 hours a day, with the remaining 6 hours dedicated to children's cartoons from the 1980s. This isn't exaggeration. Television Venezolana Social, or TVEs, literally runs government messaging, political speeches, and state-sponsored content from 6 a.m. to midnight, then switches to vintage animated shows like Inspector Gadget and G.I. Joe until morning. The contrast is surreal. You'll watch intense political rhetoric about national sovereignty, immediately followed by Scooby-Doo solving mysteries. The government claims this programming schedule balances civic education with cultural preservation, but media analysts see it as psychological manipulation designed to normalize constant political messaging. Here's the bizarre part. These 1980s cartoons have become incredibly popular among adults who grew up during Venezuela's more prosperous decades, creating an unintended nostalgia effect that actually boosts the channel's ratings. Parents report their children asking why the cartoon characters have better lives than their families, leading to uncomfortable conversations about economic decline. The cartoons are often dubbed with Venezuelan accents and modified to remove any references to American culture or capitalism. It's like living in a dystopian society where Big Brother takes a 6-hour break each night to show you what life was like before everything went wrong. Number 8. Venezuela has neighborhoods where residents pay their rent using World of Warcraft gold instead of actual currency. You heard right. In some areas of Caracas, digital currency from online video games has become more stable and valuable than the Venezuelan bolivar. Young people spend their days farming virtual gold in massively multiplayer online games, then convert their earnings into US dollars through underground exchanges at rates that often exceed minimum wage jobs. The gaming economy has become so sophisticated that entire families depend on their children's virtual adventures for survival. Here's where it gets crazy. Landlords actually prefer these alternative payment methods because they hold their value better than Venezuelan currency. Some gaming cafes have evolved into informal banks where people exchange virtual currencies, cryptocurrency, and foreign cash in a complex bartering system. The government considers this activity illegal currency exchange, but enforcement is nearly impossible because the transactions exist in digital spaces beyond their control. Residents have developed elaborate codes to discuss these payments without attracting attention, talking about defeating dragons when they mean paying utilities and leveling up when they mean making rent. It's like an entire shadow economy built on fantasy worlds, while the real economy collapses around them. Satya number 7. The country has a mountain where indigenous shamans perform rituals that require participants to remain completely silent for 30 days, or face spiritual punishment. Deep in the Orinoco River basin, Yanomami shamans conduct purification ceremonies on sacred mountains where breaking silence is believed to anger forest spirits and bring curses upon entire villages. Participants must communicate only through hand gestures and facial expressions, while consuming a diet of specific plants and ceremonial beverages. The ritual is so intense that anthropologists who've studied it report experiencing profound psychological changes from the extended silence combined with the high-altitude environment and plant medicines. Here's the spine-chilling part. Shamans claim they can identify cheaters through spiritual means, and violators are believed to suffer from chronic illness, infertility, or death within the year. The ceremony involves climbing to elevations above 2,500 meters, while carrying offerings of rare orchids and sacred stones, all without uttering a single word. Modern technology is strictly forbidden, and participants must surrender all electronic devices before beginning the ascent. Some anthropologists theorize that the combination of altitude sickness, sensory deprivation, and plant alkaloids creates altered states of consciousness that feel genuinely supernatural. The silence becomes so profound that participants report hearing their own heartbeat echoing off the mountain walls like thunder. Number 6. Venezuela has laws that make it illegal to waste food, with violators facing fines up to $15,000 and potential jail time of up to 2 years. The anti-waste food law criminalizes throwing away edible food, even in your own home, as authorities can inspect garbage and issue citations for economic crimes against the state. Restaurant owners face even harsher penalties, with some establishments being shut down permanently for disposing of excess inventory instead of donating it to government programs. The law extends to private citizens, meaning dinner parties where guests don't finish their plates can technically result in legal action if neighbors report the waste. Here's the insane part. Enforcement officers conduct random garbage inspections in wealthy neighborhoods, looking for evidence of discarded bread, rice, or other staples that could have been consumed. The definition of waste is deliberately broad and includes expired food items that authorities claim could have been consumed before spoiling. Some families have resorted to composting everything to avoid legal trouble, while others feed table scraps to neighborhood animals as evidence of productive use. The psychological impact is tremendous. Parents report that their children now eat everything on their plates out of fear rather than appetite. Restaurant workers have developed elaborate systems for disguising food waste as non-food organic matter to avoid inspections. It's like living under food surveillance where your garbage can be used as evidence against you in court. Number 5. The country has a dating culture where men are expected to financially support not just their girlfriends but also their girlfriend's entire extended family from the first month of dating. This cultural expectation, known as ser el hombre de la casa, or being the man of the house, means that entering a serious relationship in Venezuela often involves taking on financial responsibility for multiple households at the same time. Men frequently support their girlfriend's parents, siblings, grandparents, and even cousins with monthly allowances, grocery shopping, and medical expenses. The financial pressure is so intense that, honestly, many relationships end within weeks when men realize the full scope of expected support. Here's where it gets overwhelming. Women's families often evaluate potential suitors based on their earning capacity and willingness to contribute to family expenses before even considering emotional compatibility. Young men in their 20s commonly find themselves supporting 10 to 15 people across multiple families, creating enormous stress and preventing them from building personal savings or independence. The tradition originated during more prosperous economic times, but, it's really intensified during the current crisis, as families desperately need additional income sources. Some men work multiple jobs specifically to meet these relationship obligations, while others just avoid serious dating altogether due to the financial burden. Women who can't provide this financial benefit through their partners often remain single or face family pressure to end relationships with men who can't contribute adequately. It's created a dating market where love takes a backseat to economic survival, turning romance into a complex financial negotiation that determines entire families' well-being. Number 4. Venezuela has neighborhoods where power outages last for weeks at a time. But residents have created an underground economy using car batteries to power illegal cryptocurrency mining operations. In areas like Petare and parts of Maracaibo, residents have turned extended blackouts into profit opportunities by connecting automotive batteries to cryptocurrency mining rigs that operate during brief periods of restored power. These improvised operations generate enough income to purchase food, medicine, and even more car batteries to expand their mining capacity. The ingenuity is honestly remarkable. Entire apartment buildings coordinate battery rotation schedules to maximize mining time, with neighbors taking turns charging their equipment whenever electricity briefly returns. Here's the crazy part. The noise from hundreds of mining rigs running on car batteries creates a constant humming sound that authorities use to locate illegal operations, leading to cat-and-mouse games where miners quickly disassemble their setups when police approach. Some buildings have developed elaborate early warning systems using WhatsApp groups and walkie-talkies to alert miners when enforcement officers enter the neighborhood. The cryptocurrency earned often exceeds what residents could make through traditional employment, creating a bizarre situation where power outages have become business opportunities rather than just hardships. Residents report that successful miners become neighborhood celebrities, with families seeking marriages between their daughters and young men who've mastered the art of battery-powered Bitcoin generation. The social dynamics have completely shifted. Technical knowledge about cryptocurrency and electrical engineering now determines social status more than traditional education or family background. Number 3. The country has a prison where inmates run their own banks, hospitals, and schools, while guards aren't allowed inside without permission from prisoner-elected officials. La Sabaneta prison operates as a completely autonomous society, where 25,000 inmates have established their own government, complete with elected representatives, taxation systems, and social services that function more efficiently than many legitimate municipalities. Prisoners mint their own currency, operate sophisticated medical facilities staffed by incarcerated doctors, and run educational programs that grant legitimate diplomas recognized by Venezuelan universities. The prison economy generates millions of dollars annually through businesses ranging from restaurants and barbershops to manufacturing operations that sell products to the outside world. Here's the mind-blowing part. Crime rates inside the prison are actually lower than in surrounding neighborhoods, and the prisoner government maintains such effective order that Venezuelan officials sometimes consult with inmate leaders on policy matters affecting the broader criminal justice system. Guards work more like border agents, controlling entry and exit but having no authority over internal affairs, and they must request permission and pay fees to prisoner officials before entering certain areas. The prison has its own radio stations, newspapers, and even wedding venues where inmates marry visitors in elaborate ceremonies. Some prisoners choose to remain after their sentences end because they've built successful lives and businesses within the prison walls. The inmate government collects taxes, provides social services, and maintains infrastructure so effectively that neighboring communities sometimes request help with their own civic problems. Number 2. Venezuela has a city where residents have trained hundreds of street dogs to deliver messages, drugs, and small packages across neighborhoods faster than any postal service. In the hillside barrios of Caracas, an intricate network of street dogs serves as a communication and delivery system that operates with stunning efficiency and reliability. Residents have spent years conditioning these animals to recognize specific routes, addresses, and even individual people, creating a canine postal service that can navigate areas too dangerous or inaccessible for human messengers. The dogs carry waterproof pouches containing everything from love letters and family photos to prescription medications and small electronics, with success rates exceeding 95% for local deliveries. Here's the incredible part. The dogs have learned to avoid police checkpoints in gang territories, often taking complex alternative routes that human couriers wouldn't know or dare to attempt. Different neighborhoods have their own canine specialists. Some dogs excel at medical deliveries to elderly residents, others focus on communications between separated families, and a few have become experts at smuggling contraband past security forces. The system is so sophisticated that dogs recognize not just addresses, but also specific time schedules, returning to pickup points at predetermined hours for return messages. Residents provide food, veterinary care, and shelter to participating dogs, creating a symbiotic relationship where both humans and animals benefit from the arrangement. Some dogs have become local celebrities, with residents tracking their daily routes and celebrating their successful deliveries. The intelligence required for this system is remarkable. Dogs must memorize dozens of locations, recognize hundreds of human faces, and navigate urban terrain while avoiding traffic, hostile animals, and law enforcement. It's essentially a four-legged communication network that's more reliable than traditional mail service, telephone systems, or internet connections in many areas. Number 1. Venezuela is the only country in the world where McDonald's has been forced to serve macarepas instead of Big Macs due to government-mandated cultural food laws. The Venezuelan government implemented the culinary sovereignty law requiring all international fast food chains to replace their signature items with traditional Venezuelan alternatives or face permanent closure and asset seizure. McDonald's was forced to completely redesign their menu around arepas, traditional corn cakes stuffed with various fillings, instead of hamburgers, creating surreal scenes where customers order macarepas con pollo and arepa royale con queso under the familiar golden arches. The cultural mandate extends beyond just food items. Employees must wear traditional Venezuelan clothing during certain holidays, restaurants must play Venezuelan music exclusively, and all advertising must promote patriotic consumption rather than American fast food culture. Here's the absolutely bizarre part. The macarepas have become wildly popular and now generate higher profit margins than the original McDonald's menu, leading some international business analysts to call it an accidental marketing genius move that the company would never have discovered without government coercion. The success has been so remarkable that McDonald's corporate headquarters has started testing macarepas in other Latin American markets, potentially making Venezuela's forced cultural menu the blueprint for future regional expansion. Customers report that the macarepas taste better and are more filling than traditional McDonald's fare, while the Venezuelan corn suppliers have become millionaires overnight by securing exclusive contracts with the fast food giant. The situation has created a diplomatic paradox where an American corporation has been forced to become more Venezuelan than Venezuela itself, with McDonald's now actively promoting traditional Venezuelan culture more aggressively than many local businesses. It's the ultimate irony. Government intervention, designed to resist American cultural imperialism, accidentally created the most successful fusion of Venezuelan and American business culture in the country's history. So we've just discovered Venezuela's most shocking secrets, from haunted waterfalls and silent mountain rituals to cryptocurrency mining neighborhoods and canine postal services. Which one shocked you the most? Have you ever experienced anything this bizarre in your own travels? Subscribe for more mind-blowing facts about countries that will completely change how you see the world.